The Switch's library this gen was something else. Nintendo, Sony, and Microsoft have always had good lineups by the end of the gen, but this was different. It's astounding how many times Nintendo shocked us with the sheer variety on display here, while almost every publisher was struggling to even release anything at all. They covered so much ground that unless your name is Star Fox Loverboy 35, you are likely to have been satisfied in the past 8 years. So because they released so many titles, and because we as humans only have so many hours in the day, I wanted to put a spotlight on what the most significant Switch exclusives were. More so games that did a lot for the console or for their genre rather than the best games. It feels right when we are on the doorstep of a new era for Nintendo. I only have 2 simple rules to make things a little interesting. First, no Wii U ports, or any remasters, or ports, or remasters, or reimaginings, or reboots, or revengeance. Secondly, it only makes sense to add games I've played. I know the Oscars fucking hate to see me coming. Fortunately, that does immediately highlight something important. There will be no Zelda on this list. I'm sorry, I love Breath of the Wild. It's not only one of the best games of all time, it was one of my first Switch games, so there's much nostalgia there. But that shit's a Wii U sandwich, and I have yet to play through these other games. We are going in release order, so without further ado, let's start off with number 1. Being a Sonic fan, I'm used to weirdo shit, and this even threw me off guard. Again, I don't know what kind of weirdo they materialized, eons of market research when making this, but let's be glad that weirdo exists, because Mario Rabbids is really good. Greater than it should be, you know? It's like this game was destined to be a 3DS eShop title with a 5-person dev team who all get publicly executed by Yves Guillotine. Ubisoft flexes their comedic muscles hard in Mario Rabbids. Shout out to Phantom of the Opera, as Mario Rabbids actually got laughs out of me, which is notable as when you're faced with this thing, there is a biological urge to not laugh. You actively do not expect to laugh, and yet you chuckle. They made me like these things. What the hell? How? And that is precisely the thing of this game. It's an underdog. You don't expect this to work. It's not an idea that was supposed to be good. It's not something anyone demanded. It's not made by a beloved developer. Those bastards coined quadruple A. I love that they wanted this game to be taken seriously as a good video game, and so we were all hit with how surprisingly realized this gameplay actually is. New, interesting gimmicks are continuously thrown at you. You have a variety of strategy mechanics to play around with that all work really well in tandem. Rabbid Peach shall be my wife, and the level design is genuinely fun and dynamic. The audio and visual feedback when you hit enemies in this game makes every fight worth looking forward to. Every character feels a different purpose within the game's meta. I could go on and on. Beyond the initial idea of Mario Rabbids crossover, the game has its own original pull, even if you don't care about any of these elements. And that pull is what makes Mario Rabbids not just good, but a good poster boy for what happens when you let people cook, when you let talented people experiment. For how easy it could have been to fuck it all up, it's a standout experience. Number 2. Up girl. Number 3. Is it just me, or is it not wrong to hype up Smash Ultimate? Because why the fuck do I need to do that? It doesn't need any more hype. It's Smash. There's no question in my mind about it. Ultimate is one of the best fighting games ever created. So rather than try and describe why it was so good, I'd like to share a few of my favorite Smash moments over the generation. First, disguising the initial reveal trailer as a Splatoon battle in a way that did not immediately give away the play, just to slowly build up to the icon in the octopus's eyes, was nothing short of genius. It might actually be the best reveal trailer for a game of all time. I struggle to think of anything that really outmatches it. It's so interesting going back and watching reactions because it completely catches people off guard. The amazing "everyone is here" trailer is just escalate, escalate, payoff, piss in the pants, mouth on the ground at all points. There have been few moments in the gaming industry to release the feeling that this E3 reveal brought me. Everyone was actually here and then some. It's understood that this will probably never happen again in the near future, making this game all the more significant. Another great moment was letting you play as Master Hand at the end of World of Light, which didn't shock me, but it truly felt special. You know, you had never been able to do this before. I appreciate Sakurai's dedication to just flabbergasting everyone. Also, World of Light was awesome. You guys just don't appreciate good old smashing like I do. The realization that we're actually getting more with Fighter Pass 2, just insane. They could have not made any DLC and I think people would have been happy, but going the extra mile twice meant a lot and was something to look forward to for 3 straight years. Every Nintendo Direct, every gaming event was always super exciting, giving us Sephiroth, Pythra, Min Min, Kazuya, and of course Sora, and absolutely no one else. And finally, shout out to this Nintendo store and the guy who records crowds of people getting the reaction to all the major moments throughout the Switch generation. These videos are fucking pockets of beauty. Every single person is a lunatic who should be locked up, but I understand every single one. Watch this and tell me it doesn't make you at least a little happy. When the time comes for the next Smash game, I don't know how they're gonna top it. Ultimate is most people's dream combination of everything you'd want from a Smash Bros game, so I really hope for a Switch 2 edition with all the DLC on cart. Nintendo be like, how about we fucking kill you instead? Number 4. Who the hell thinks of this? Who sits there and says, make it an orgy? Releasing this at the height of the Battle Royale craze is the funniest possible thing Nintendo could have done. You want some tilted towers? Catch this L, dumbass! I have yet to achieve a chicken dinner in Tetris 99, as it's impossible. Actually harder than any Fortnite or Apex Legends, because there's no cheesing something like this. You can't camp, because the almighty line will come for you. I don't know what it is. You can see my gameplay. I think I'm decent at Tetris 99. Got about 40 hours in the game, but they just keep putting me against player Chikaro Toyamino Noburo Tayo, a fucking 10-year-old who should just let me win. Everyone else is too good, and every second is stressful agony. And yeah, I want to play more. Just when I thought I was out, they pulled me back in. Judging by history, we're probably gonna see a new 99 game next year, but I think they should just make Tetris 100, where they add a fucking dude to the corner of the screen and he dances and he contributes nothing to society and he's me and I'm dancing. I've always been the dude and Platinum Games have had a rough time recently, considering the discourse. Bayonetta 3 is arguably the worst in the trilogy and did not stick the landing, especially for how long it took to come out. Bayonetta's nutted out, Babylon's Fall was active for 5 Concords. They cancelled a lot of games and they went from releasing hits every year to just not really doing much. Ninja Gaiden 4 renews my confidence in them so far, but it's safe to say that they aren't the company that they used to be. More serious than anything was how they began vomiting people, and I don't know if you know much about the human body, but that's not good. However, let's borrow all that and focus on a W, because Astral Chain really is worth playing just on its gimmick alone, and it's not like this game is one of my favorites. Despite understanding how to play it, I'd still rather crack open Devil May Cry or God of War, but damn it if I'm not intrigued by the type of person who even comes up with this idea. While it didn't reach its full potential, the 2-player combat works super well, offering you different spirits / weapons to mix things up. The ghost thingy is woven into the gameplay naturally with combos. The visuals are beautiful to this day, but especially back then, it looked like black magic. Truly, if you like JoJo, you can squint your eyes, imagine these as stands, and have a pretty good time. However, I do seriously question why it didn't sell better. Even Bayonetta somehow struggles. I don't get that at all. Ultimately, I say it's down to story and characters, which suck in Astral Chain. I did not care for the story, and the player character is lame. The best-selling Platinum games seem like the ones that nail those aspects and therefore have an edge in the marketing department, bringing in people that otherwise maybe wouldn't be drawn into the character action gameplay, because they're drawn in by a big muscly white guy talking about memes. It's me, I'm people. Platinum used to use their position to make games that no one else really would be able to make, and that deserves to be rewarded. Go buy this game, especially if you feel AAA games have gotten stale. This number is not big enough. What the fuck? I dig Ring Fit Adventure. Only got it like 2 months ago, so my experience with it is minimal, but in that short time, it has proven to me that this might be the best recontextualization of exercise in a game I've ever seen. And I've seen like at least 3. Ring Fit demonstrates that the kooky experimental side of Nintendo isn't dead, even if their consoles aren't doing crazy things on the hardware anymore. Like, look at this thing. You want to use this for a fucking turn-based RPG. This is a Soul Calibur weapon, where in any other situation, everything in this game would just be exercise in an empty dark room. Ring Fit enables your working out by turning it to story progression, leveling up, game mechanics, obstacles, level design. The ring is quite durable, so for strength training, you can squeeze it in positions that put strain on your arms and shoulders. The awful leg strap does track you efficiently, opening up the ability to squat, get on the floor and push with your legs. Graphics are clean. I love the design of these enemies. This one's a thingy, this one's jacked. It's satisfying to see that effort turned into damage in real time. What I didn't expect is that this game is a sweat-inducing workout. You can absolutely use this to lose weight, which meant it came out at a perfect time when gyms were having to temporarily close. I don't think many people realize just how well this game sold. These fucking circles are gonna be everywhere in haunted, abandoned houses 50 years from now. And speaking of perfect timing, number 7, Animal Crossing New Horizons. I don't care if the millennials tear me apart for this one. I think Animal Crossing is boring. You do nothing. There's no violence. There's no kill streaks. This stupid ass game has nothing for me to do, and I truly have looked up. What do I do? So many times. It never works. I get up. I pick a cutting leaf up. I check the crafting table and walk around, but nothing enables me. There's no Ubisoft checklist. It's not my thing. These games are seemingly not compatible with how I like to play games. I want to one day spend a few hours trying my best to stick with Animal Crossing and really progress, but that won't happen anytime soon, as I'm pretty sure there's no diamond for me in this rough. Despite not liking it, it's here as 45 million people disagree, so I do see it. I do see why people got obsessed with tending to their islands, doing random shit. It's a life simulation game, and that is a popular type of game. Ring Fit had good timing, but Animal Crossing was perfecter. It amazes me when I think about it. March was the start of it, but also compassion and understanding. You had one game inviting evil and destruction, and the other was doom. I am genuinely fascinated by how big it got, because man, they were talking about this game on Brooklyn Nine-Nine, the fucking Like a Boss guy. It was a hugely significant release for not only for what it did with the Switch, but the gaming industry in general. New Horizons opened the door for so many casuals to get into other Switch games, and truly, I think that's what you want exclusives to do. It's cool to think that there's someone who became a Mario and Splatoon fan because they got a Switch to play Animal Crossing. Massive social games give people a reason to become gamers, and so Pokemon also deserves a spot for this very reason. Number 8, Pokemon Legends Arceus. I will be the first to admit that Legends Arceus is flawed, but in the face of overwhelming criticism and dissatisfaction, Game Freak listened, and that is simply not often brought up. It seems to me like once Scarlet Violet came out and the lawsuit happened, this game disappeared in people's minds. But Arceus objectively shook up the franchise. It did away with the format that people were apparently so tired of, where you could play through it all with an overleveled starter, and you met a stupid rival with a stupid face and followed the paths and took on gyms. Everything was easy, and then you encountered the resurrection of Satan going on in the background. Blah 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 blah. Game Freak said, okay fine. What if the Pokeballs were wood? No. In fact, what if we de-emphasize fighting trainers and instead took you back in time to make everything about exploration, make everything about the Pokemon, and also make them big and scary like little bosses scattered around the world. There's no dungeons, there's no Pokemon League, but there is freedom. Now, when you approach an enemy, you're not going to be trapped in a static screen. No, what's going to happen is you can circle this thing like a Dark Soul and throw a Pokeball. Gibran says, but Game Freak, that's not you. You could throw a Pokeball all the way back in Pokemon Green. Game Freak says, no idiot, you click text in those ones. Check this shit out. Ha! Legends Arceus granted us a power never before seen. Annoying the shit out of animals. There's a lot I love about Arceus that I don't have the time to go into, but this is what you spend most of your time doing. And so they had to nail it. If there was any clunkiness, if there was anything unsatisfying about the catching, it would compromise the entire experience. Luckily, or I should say skillfully, they nailed it. It's the most fun I've ever had catching Pokemon, and that extends to the overall increased player agency, which changed everything for me. Arceus isn't like a revolution that no video game has ever matched, but for Pokemon, it is a huge step forward for the series. They built up to this in prior games, but Legends Arceus is a game you couldn't experience in Pokemon Red, Platinum, XY, etc. Prior to this game's release. You could make the argument that if you played one, you had played them all, but that stopped being true with Arceus, as it truly did offer something completely different. Exploring all the different regions with the various transportation Pokemon was magical. Looking at my notebook, figuring out what Pokemon I want to look for next was really immersive. I love the idea of researching these things in the wild by observing their moves or feeding them food. People still insist Game Freak doesn't care, puts in the lowest effort, and I simply disagree. If they can effectively nurture what they achieved here, Pokemon's are could be awesome, but that remains to be seen, and so they could just as easily fuck it up. Speaking of fuck, number 9. Kirby never quite made that jump to 3D like every other game did. When Sonic was like, hey man, hey dude, I'm radical, awesome, speed! Kirby was like, in 1998, I ran over a woman while drunk driving and never went to prison. Instead of going the 3D platformer direction, how went this little pink bastard is gonna do everything sideways direction, allowing them to perfect Kirby in 2D. So when the time did come, for me it was less finally and more so, what is the justification? What is this game's thing? He eats now? He eats now. Something that simply wouldn't have the same impact in 2D, as it very much opens up the level design by, forcing you to look around, not up and down. Most of Forgotten Land is simply Kirby translated from 2D to 3D, which granted is done beautifully, but still kind of what you expect from a 3D platformer. I'd compare it to 3D World. Every god tier platformer needs that special sauce, and so being able to ride around in a boat, or drive around as a car, or beat a staircase really is what makes you go, oh, I'm just constantly engaged. The idea of mouthful mode just invites creativity and just really wraps up the whole experience in a nice ribbon. You still have a great game here without the transformations, but with it, Kirby and the Forgotten Land becomes special. While I don't think it's a masterpiece and is even a little overrated, it truly does deserve recognition for delivering something we've never seen before and showing that Kirby is still one of Nintendo's most reliable franchises. In 20 years, when we look back at the Switch, we're gonna remember it for momentous occasions like this, but just like we're gonna remember it for the best 2D Mario game in the series. Everyone give it up for Mario fucking Donkey Kong. Oh, yeah. Every time I loaded Wonder Up, I just kept saying to myself, Nintendo, stop being smart, stop being creative, give me something normal. And they just wouldn't do it. They just don't stop coming up with new bullshit. It's everywhere. It's new bullshit within new bullshit. And the new bullshit is fun. And the new bullshit is gorgeous to look at. You could take out every Wonder Flower, every transformation, simply leave the levels as they are, and you'd still have a smorgasbord of excellently designed stages. We would still have beautifully crafted backgrounds and foregrounds, fluidly animated enemies that don't feel like models with code, but alive beings that inhabit the world we're exploring. You would still be hit with a bundle of new game mechanics per level. It's the freshest 2D Mario we've ever gotten. It's so good at genuinely surprising you and not just relying on the past. I'm aware it's basic to put another Mario game here, but I truly do think this isn't just one of the Switch's best games, it's easily the best 2D Mario, and that level of creativity needs to be commended and upheld. It was hard to admit that at first, as I have memories of playing World and All-Stars when I was 4, but what this game achieves is something those titles could never compete with. They feel bland after Wonder, which I know might be sacrilegious to say, but what's more insane is how even after 6.5 years, they were still able to shock and awe on a grossly underpowered tablet. And I am done. That is my definitive list of what I think the most iconic, the most significant Switch games have been. So I hope you enjoyed my opinion. I look forward to seeing your top 10, even though it's like so much worse than mine. I had fun putting this list together. If fun means excruciatingly painful misery and torture, as there were obvious and less obvious omissions that felt wrong to leave out, but I wanted to stick to my guns. I do have honorable mentions that I love to go over, but didn't want to make this video too long, so if you want to check those out, I put them in the description and posted them in the comments, which will go one of two ways. It'll either be empty because I got no views, or Xenoblade fans will post my home and IP address. The joke is on them. However, as I am one step ahead, idiots. By the way, Breath of the Wild is the only Nintendo game my brother has ever played, so just bully the shit out of him using the email address on screen. Thank you for understanding.